Welcome back to the resin casting video. I'm going to be going through the results here with you now so you can see a bit about what happened and how to get things out of the moulds as well. So first things first, we've got our lovely one here with our wood in it. Okay, now the wood stayed still and didn't float, which is good. It was nice and squished in there, and our green has kind of meandered through without being overpowering, and I'm getting some nice streaky bits coming through there. The glitter hasn't quite settled as much as I expected it to, but it has kind of set in place and should create a nice little bit of atmosphere behind that as well. So I'm getting that one out probably last at this point. This one here, I poured some of the extra resin on top that I'd put some gold leaf into, some extra bits of gold leaf, and the leaves did, not the leaves, the feathers did kind of float up through that a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see, and the colour was different as well. It'd be interesting to see how much that kind of mixed together. I've already taken a couple of these out because I just wanted to check and see how I could get them out without damaging things for the video. So they've kind of come through, and that'll be interesting to see what they look like properly. And I had some resin left over, so I poured it in this mould and filled it with some bits of wood to kind of chuck it up, and we'll see what that looks like at the end as well. Okay, so let's get this one here out to start with. It's going to be our fastest and easiest one to pull out. That just pops straight out of the mould. So super simple like that. No obvious kind of colour differentiation on the sides there, even though they were two actual different colours. In the background, if I put something whitish behind that, we can't see too much of a difference in colour either. So that's worked out all right. They definitely look like they're nice and floating in there, and should be able to get a few nice pieces out of that using the different parts of the feathers, fluffy bits, etc. So yeah, so we've got our little red streaks kind of came through in there as well. You can kind of see some of the little bits of red powder kind of floating around on there. And that looks like they did kind of float up to the surface as well. So yeah, so that's kind of worked out quite nicely. Put that over there. Let's just quickly pull this one here out. I can pull this middle bit here away and hopefully from there kind of get it to pop out. These silicone moulds, sometimes they're easier, sometimes they're not. It's kind of very careful. I don't want to damage the mould. It should be reusable. So I don't really want it to kind of be broken and everything else in the first go. Okay. So this is supposed to be a cuff bracelet, and I was hoping that I get just enough clear in the top there that we'd be able to see some of the bits of wood even after that was cleaned up. And I can kind of see some of that happening around the back here on the inside, but the powder has kind of really gone through it all and has mixed into that clear, made it slightly less opaque, transparent than I was kind of hoping for. But since it was just all of the leftover resin, I can't complain too much. I'll probably cut all of this back and neaten that up because it looks a bit jaggedy and looks a bit sharp and uncomfortable at this point in time. Okay, all of these beads, just really gently kind of pushing them out. Silicone mould, make sure I don't snap that middle bit there off. This was the one that had all of the, the bits of wood into it. I'm not sure if I can get that clear enough for the camera to really see. It looks pretty cool. It had a lot of clear in there, and then I poured a little bit of red in there just to give it some colour and add something else to it. That looks like it's gone through really well. All of them kind of shrank back a little bit from where they were, so they weren't quite at the surface level. So unfortunately, they don't look quite like beads. This was the one that had the clear with the gold leaf, and then I poured a little bit of green into it to get that kind of streaking through it a bit. It's worked out okay. Try and get it to focus a little bit more where my hands are so that you can see a little bit better. And then I think these other ones were just kind of mixes. Oh, this one had the feather in it. That's right. Kind of put a bit of some other colours in there as well, and you can't really see super well or easily what's going on in there without the light shining through it or looking at it really close. It's a bit of a cool effect though, the feather. The lighting's probably not the best from where I am, but we need this bench for a bit later on. All right, and that was our last one. I think it just ended up being completely green because I poured in too quickly. So that's a nice solid colour. A little bit of air bubble down the bottom there. Probably part of the result of pouring it in too quick. Okay, so those are the easy moulds to get rid of. This one here, I've already given it a bit of a tap to get some of the edges away, which is why one of the sides looks a little bit funky there. That's just a bit of air between the resin and the plastic caused by me giving it a few taps with a hammer and giving it a chance to kind of break away. Now to get this out properly, I'm going to still need my hammer, which I've got here next to me, and my heat gun, which I've got here as well. I'm going to heat this up so that all of the hot glue kind of dissolves, and then I can use my hammer to kind of keep tapping away at it to get the acrylic and resin to separate. I don't need to hit it heavily with a hammer, but safety glasses wouldn't hurt, because if you do hit it at the wrong angle, we can get a chip of that acrylic flying off. All right, it's going to be a bit of noise. This hopefully won't take too long. Yeah, that's already starting to melt away now, which is good. You see that one go just there? That already had some stress behind it. That's already fully broken away. Now the heat gun is very hot. You definitely do not want to be sticking your hand in front of it once it's got up to temperature. Okay, it's like sticking your hand in an oven. Oops, my hammer's starting to stick to the glue there. Not entirely desirable. Don't forget as well that hot glue is super hot once it's melted, so just keep an eye out for that as well. No point in burning yourself trying to get your resin out. There's that side come off. I hope you can see that with everything going on. That's that side coming away now. Just those last two. So what we're looking for is we're actually looking for that plastic, the acrylic here, to kind of bend as we're hitting it. And that should then cause that to pop off. The hot glue is what's causing it to be a little bit more gentle and calm in how it comes away, just because there's so much hot glue, which is what we want. I still did get a slight leak actually in it, so I must have missed a small spot while I was talking to you all. One more side to go. Just be careful that those corners there can actually be quite sharp. There it goes. All right, and there we have our final piece. You can see the bits of resin that kind of go through the join of your pieces of acrylic, which is why it's so important for the hot glue to be on the outside. But yeah, that's ready for me to slice up into bits and pieces. Small air bubble, you can see that didn't get resolved just then because of how tight they were. That's going to be okay. That's not going to affect things too much. Yeah. Alrighty, so that's it for the resin videos. I hope this was good to see final bits of it all, and this is helpful for your final design. Bye bye.